having to discuss this topic. And Senator, to be honest with you, I am so very shocked that this issue has become, what it is. I mean, don't we have time to do any other thing? Why have we spent so much time and energy discussing something which is so very clear and so very simple to understand? It shocks me. Now listen, I speak as somebody who was put on trial before the National Public Tribunal. I was on trial before the National Public Tribunal. I had been charged together with Professor Edubuaini. We were tried by the National Public Tribunal, and I know what I'm talking about. You see, in one of the conversations that I had on the public tribunal, the establishment of public tribunals, I simply urge those who are listening to us to take any dictionary in the world and look up the word tribunal. Now, that should settle the matter, because a tribunal is another word for court. So instead of calling it regional tribunals, the Constitution could simply have said, let us establish regional courts. Would that have ended this needless, fruitless debate? Sometimes I just wonder. I know those who are steering up this discussion, this debate and so on. They are lawyers. They are leading parliamentarians. They are high-ranking political office holders, including a former vice president. I can't believe it. Master, I simply can't believe it. Sometimes they talk about the history of tribunals. And they start from the mid-1980s. That's where they start from. Whoa. Is that how their sense of history is limited? Because if you're going to talk about the history of tribunals, tribunals have a history of more than 500 years. So if you want to talk about the history of tribunals, let's go there. Tribunals were actually first established in Rome. And tribunals in Rome, the word tribunal is actually derived from platforms, days. In those days, people who gave judgment, judges and so on, sat on a dais. A platform. It is that platform which was called tribunal. And over the years, that platform, the name of that platform, came to represent the institution of justice. You understand what I'm saying? So originally, a tribunal is a platform on which judges sat. And then, over the years, it came to represent the institution of justice. But you see, tribunal originally was not even English. Tribunal originally was not French. Tribunal came to be adopted as an English language expression, meaning court, in the 1400s, between the 1400s and 1500s. That's when the word tribunal was adopted into English and into French. You understand? Now it's important also to understand that tribunals were established in Rome to protect the weak, the poor, and the vulnerable from the Senate and from the high-handedness of elite courts. This is part of the history of tribunals. Okay? Now, Sana, no doubt, in Ghana, if you're looking at the history of tribunals and you start from the 1980s, you will be worried. Because the Rawlings regime actually abused the concept of tribunals. No doubt at all about it. Tribunals were populated deliberately by loyalists to the regime. And persons who were tried before the tribunals had no right of appeal, which was an abuse of their fundamental rights and so on. This is the 1980s. But the tribunals we're talking about now are not the tribunals of the 1980s. And only lazy people who refuse to read, who refuse to understand the text of the 1992 Constitution can engage in this childish populist play that we are seeing. It's amazing. Now, all of us, there's nobody who has stood up publicly and said that the 1992 Constitution should be violated. Whether they are in the MPP, CPP, NDC, or UP, everybody is saying that the 1992 Constitution should be respected. I've not heard anybody who says that we should only respect portions of the 1992 Constitution and not respect other portions of the 1992 Constitutions. Indeed, when President John Dramani Mahama took the oath of office, he swore to protect the Constitution, the 1992 Constitution. Not parts of the Constitution, but the whole of the Constitution. So today, when I hear people saying that there are some things in the Constitution which we should ignore or not implement or which we should violate, I wonder how that is consistent with their commitment to protecting the 1992 Constitution. I just wonder. And you see, Senna, I have before me the 1992 Constitution. This is the 1992 Constitution. Now, in Article 142 of the 19th Constitution, headed Regional Tribunals, it is clear that the Constitution enjoins us to establish regional tribunals. Now, I'll read the provisions. This is Article 142, subsection 1. There shall be established in each region of Ghana such regional tribunals as the Chief Justice may determine. It's a constitutional provision. You cannot go against this if you want to uphold the 1992 Constitution. It says the Chief Justice must establish regional tribunals. 2. A regional tribunal shall consist of A, the Chief Justice, one chairman, and such other members who may or may not be lawyers as shall be designated by the Chief Justice to sit as panel members of a regional tribunal, and for such period as shall be specified in writing by the Chief Justice. This is also a constitutional provision. 3. A regional tribunal shall be duly constituted by a panel consisting of the chairman and not less than 2 other panel members. 4. A person shall not be appointed to be chairman of a regional tribunal unless he is qualified to be appointed as a justice of the High Court. It is in the 1992 Constitution. 5. A panel member of a regional tribunal shall be a person of high moral character and proven integrity. This is the 1992 Constitution. So this is the 1992 Constitution. And we are being told that we should throw it away. We are being told that we should throw it away simply because the Rawlings government established courts which violated the rights of citizens. Now, Senna, so if the Rawlings government had not established tribunals and had established courts, would we be arguing today that Ghana should never have courts? If you come to consider the fact that the tribunal is just another word for court, and the Rawlings government had decided to establish courts instead of tribunals, would we be arguing today that there should be no courts in Ghana? What is this? And for me, the argument which kills me, I mean the one that kills me completely, is the argument that President John Dramani Mahama has set up a constitutional review committee. And that the constitutional review committee has proposed that we should take out tribunals from the 1992 constitution. And because of that, we should not have tribunals. First and foremost, the report of the Constitutional Review Committee set up by President Dramani Mahama is not law. It is not law. It cannot be law. It's just a recommendation by a presidential committee. It's not, it doesn't have the effect of law. Now we are saying that we should ignore the laws and instead implement the report of a presidential committee. Hey, babe! How? So can you believe this? The lawyers, former vice president, are making the argument, brazenly standing in front of cameras, holding press conferences and saying that there's a report of a presidential committee which is more important than the constitution. Abba. I can't believe it. And they do so with smiles on their face, with courage and so on. They look the 35 million people of Ghana in the face and say that the report of a presidential committee has more weight than the constitution, which was promulgated through a national referendum. What is happening? What is happening in Ghana? Unbelievable. But that is their position. You know, and then they go on to say other things. This matter went before Parliament. It went before Parliament. Ally? The majority and the minority discussed this at committee level. They haggled over it and so on. It came before the plenary in Parliament. They haggled over it there and so on. They voted on it. It went to the president for assent. The president has not assented it yet. And then a presidential candidate holds a live broadcast and tells the president, wait, don't sign it. Come, let's have discussions on it before you sign. I'm wondering, what is happening? The NPP has more than 80-something members of parliament. Are we saying that the NPP parliamentarians, when they go to parliament to discuss bills and so on, they do so on their own without consultation with their party structures? That they don't represent their party? That they don't represent their constituents and so on? So when they have gone and taken part in debates and have arrived, and Parliament has arrived at conclusions, we now stop, take the issue back to the NPP and perhaps to their constituents for discussion before assent? Sana, to be honest with you, some of us are getting tired. I mean, we are getting tired. Sana, to be honest with you, we don't just get confused, we get tired. We are wearing down. This is what in English language sometimes is described as shenanigans. Is that the word? Shenanigans. Sometimes. Because your members of parliament, over a period, were discussing this matter, and you had something to say, and you didn't call them to tell them what you thought so that they could represent your party and their constituents properly. You waited until the bill has been passed, and then you have live broadcast calling on President Mahama to wait and come for conversations before. Incredible. In any case, parliamentary procedure, as I know, when these matters are being considered, members of the public have a right and a duty to make representations to parliament. Were you sleeping? Were you sleeping when the process was going through? I cannot believe it. So today, these chaps are calling on President John Dramani Mahama to actually ignore provisions of the Constitution, not to respect Article 142 of the Constitution, to act against the Constitution. Let's say that President Mahama agrees to do as they want. What if next week President Mahama also then decides that, well, there's a precedent? We actually ignore provisions of sections of the Constitution, and that I'm also going to ignore Article 270 of the Constitution. What moral authority would we have to hold him to account? You understand? If we encourage President Mahama to violate any section of the Constitution, would we have a moral authority to prevent him from violating other sections of the Constitution? This Constitution is either wholly kept or wholly thrown into the dustbin. Article 142 is part of the Constitution. Now, what is also interesting is the fact that in Ghana, there is a hierarchy of laws. Hierarchy of laws. The supreme law of Ghana is the 1992 Constitution. And indeed, all other laws, including laws passed by Parliament, including laws which are established by precedent in the courts and so on, are subordinate to this law. You understand what I mean? Are subordinate to this law, which is the fundamental law. Now, we, some of us, for reasons which are difficult to fathom, are saying that, no, the Constitution is no longer the fundamental law of the land. And that a committee report should take precedent over the Constitution. Hey, my friend, what is happening? Can you understand? I can't. Many other issues have been raised. You see, the defect of the tribunal system established in the 1980s by the Rawlings regime was simply the fact that the system was not independent of the executive. It was under the thumb of the executive. It was fully controlled by the executive through how its members were appointed. That was a serious defect, and I agree. In the 1980s, if you were not a Rawlings loyalist or a PNDC loyalist, there was no way you could become chairman of member of a tribunal. That has been cured by the 1992 Constitution. Cured. Okay? So it is not the president today who is going to appoint members of the NDC to populate the tribunal. Now, members of the tribunal are going to be appointed the same way the Chief Justice empanels all other courts. So if you are not happy with the Chief Justice empaneling all other courts, it will not become a defect of the tribunals, but it will become a defect of the High Court, a defect of the Court of Appeal, and even by extension, a defect of the Supreme Court of Ghana. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the other interesting thing in Article 142 is that the Constitution says very clearly that you cannot be chairman of a tribunal if you are not qualified to be appointed as a High Court judge. So in terms of quality, the High Court judges would have the same quality as the chairpersons of tribunals. What is your problem? What is your problem? Decisions taken by the tribunals can be appealed against. What is your trouble? Then it says the tribunal may have at least 2 lay persons. Not exactly. 2 persons who may be lawyers. You say you don't understand. The traditional court system makes room for jurors who are not necessarily lawyers, who are lay persons. Sometimes they are teachers, sometimes they are priests, and so on. The traditional court system itself admits that. What is your problem? You see, I'm not a lawyer. I've never gone to law school. The closest I've come to the practice of law is to be some court reporter in the courtrooms and so on. You understand? Now, I do know that in some cases like murder, the trial of murder and so on, there's a process called assizes. I hope I'm getting it right. Assizes. Who determines whether a prima facie case has been established for the case to continue? Lay persons. So, look, I'm completely baffled. And what also shocks me is that all throughout my life, and I mean throughout my life, since I got to the position where I could understand conversations, I could read newspapers and so on, one of the things that I've known about the new patriotic party and its history and so on is that they have always claimed to be a party of lawyers. A party which insists on the rule of law. A party, and this is the position they are taking. This position they are taking is so inconsistent with their own historical claims. But you see, this is Ghana. Some people, because of the excesses of the tribunals set up by the Rawlings regime, anytime they hear tribunal, they see red flags. Okay? You see the bull. I'm sure you watch bullfights and so on. As soon as you wave a red flag, it doesn't matter the size of the flag. It doesn't matter the quality of the cloth. It must just be a red flag.
Or the location.
It doesn't even matter the location. Nothing matters. The most important thing is the color of the flag. If you wave a red flag, the bull will come attack him. That is what we are seeing now. We are in a bullfight. They have seen tribunal. Tribunal, hey, they have to headbutt, they have to fight. It doesn't matter who constitutes the tribunal. It doesn't matter the laws governing the tribunal. Nothing matters. Location doesn't matter. Quality of cloth doesn't matter. Nothing matters. It is red cloth. Let's attack. That is what is happening. And the thing which intrigues me is that I think some of them actually know what they are doing. They assume that the people of Ghana are so gullible. In fact, sometimes they're not just dealing with gullibility. They actually think that we are so stupid that the moment tribunal is mentioned, we will headbutt like bulls in the ring fighting. This is insulting to us. Because we are not bulls seeing red flags. We are humans. Reasonable humans capable of thinking. Yes, we see a red flag, but we want to know the quality of the fabric. Perhaps even the manufacturers are different. You understand? Perhaps the size of the fabric is different and so on. So we go beyond the color. We are not bulls in a bullfight. And that's what they must recognize. Master, let's go forward and not waste our time anymore. This is the third time I'm discussing this topic this week. Why? With all that is happening around the world, with Donald Trump behaving in Iran, with the European economy tumbling down, with xenophobia in South Africa, and all of that. We are discussing this topic 3 times in 1 week. Ebe, Abba, why?
To be very frank, I haven't heard you all week. So I didn't know how you were going to, but it's always interesting to hear you speak about, take every issue not on its face value, but look at it objectively. And I appreciate that because we know your own experiences with this kind of things. But it's nice to always hear you.
I was tried by the National Public Tribunal. I was tried by the National Public Tribunal. You understand? When I was tried before the National Public Tribunal, former President J. Akufo volunteered to be my lawyer. Okay. I knew the tribunal system. I knew they were not going to talk law. So I told him no. I would not accept. I told President Akufo not to be my lawyer. I decided to defend myself. And I told the tribunal that we are not coming to talk law here. We are coming to talk politics. And therefore, I'm my own best defender. If you see the photographs of my trial before the National Public Tribunal, you will see that President Akufo sat behind me. In fact, what President Akufo did for me was to take down notes and to draw my attention to some points of law and so on. But I defended myself before the National Public Tribunal because I refused to accept that it was a legally constituted, adjudicator which was going to deal on the basis of law and so on. So as for criticisms of the public tribunal system as existed under Rawlings, I uphold them. Those were kangaroo courts. Those were monstrous courts. But those are not the courts that the 1992 Constitution seeks to establish.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And before we move, when we're reading the qualification, what qualifies someone to be a member of the tribunal? I went back to read even the members, about the high moral character, to read a person shall not be qualified for appointment as a justice of the Supreme Court unless he is of high moral character and proven integrity. It's the very first thing they talk about before talking about the 15 years as a lawyer, among others. So I think they are considering virtually the same things, just that they are making room for people.
Like I'm saying, even if we have some specialized ones, you can understand. That's the kind of thing I would like to see. A lot more.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.